So I started Amazon FBA in October of 2022, and on April the 23rd, 2025, I managed to cross into the domain of over £500,000 in profit. Not revenue, pure profit. Now, as I sit down to record this in this lovely BMW that Amazon FBA bought me, I'm actually now sitting on over 530K in lifetime profit after another really successful few weeks where I even had a day where I made over £4,700 in just one single day, in 24 hours. It's absolutely crazy. And this is all from just online arbitrage, and straight up, it has completely changed my life after the past few years. In this video, I'm going to be going over how Amazon FBA has absolutely changed my life. And to you at home watching this, whether you're an established Amazon FBA seller or looking to scale your business, or you're just a complete beginner that's not fully gotten started yet, I hope that you really enjoy this video and just find value in it and kind of, get a little bit of a motivation to take this business model super seriously and change your own life in the process. So let's get into it. So obviously the most kind of main way that this has changed my life over the past few years is just the difference in the amount of money that I'm making. At the end of the day, it's why everyone starts a business. You just want to get rich, want to make money. I've had many, previous kind of businesses as such before I did Amazon FBA, but nothing has come close to the scale and just, the straight up profit that I'm making. I mean, being able to kind of just not really do a huge amount of work and still bring in easily £1,000 in profit a day, if not multi 5 figures in like just a week span, is absolutely crazy. I mean, in the past 7 days, for example, I think I'm on about 15 to 20 grand profit in just the past 7 days. Like, that is mind blowing to think about. And because I'm just constantly reinvesting that profit, honestly, it doesn't even still feel real. Like, obviously my life has changed a lot. I get to travel all the time. I've got this lovely car and stuff like that. And that's great. But I don't feel rich. It feels weird saying, because I guess a lot of people seeing my sort of numbers, they'd be like, that guy's balling out like crazy. But to me, it doesn't really even feel like that, because it's still just in the business, turning over and over and making me more money. And that is definitely the best way to do Amazon. You don't want to be pulling out your profits all the time, spending it all on lavish things that you don't really need. You want to keep as much of that profit in the business as possible, because that £100 that you have now in, say, a year's time could be worth 200. In 2 years, it's going to be worth 400. And if you don't keep it in that business, you're just not going to see those sort of returns. Basically, with Amazon FBA, you've got to keep all your profit turning around in the business. If you just start spending it like crazy from the beginning, you're just going to stunt your growth in the future. It's not like you can't spend your profit. Sure, I know some people that just take out their monthly profit and then that's it, and they just kind of keep the business at the same stage. But if you want to kind of grow exponentially like I have, it's got to just stay in the business. And lifestyle wise as well, in terms of kind of like work-life balance for Amazon FBA, I probably put in the least amount of effort now, or like the least amount of actual working hours out of anything I've ever done before, and yet still make the most amount of money. And all of that is from just being able to outsource to other people. I'm literally filming this in my car. I'm outside my prep center, which is the main warehouse where I send all of my stock and it all gets processed, labeled up, boxed up, sent to Amazon. But it's not my company, right? It's not my warehouse. They deal with all the physical side of things, and we just get an invoice at the end of each month for like the amount of units we send there. So it's super flexible. I don't have to worry about staffing or monthly rents for the warehouse or any of these like big costs that come to having like a physical unit like this. And that flexibility is crazy. It means that I can travel the world, go to anywhere I want, and I can run the whole business from my laptop. And I don't have to deal with the really time-consuming physical side of things. Like, there was a point at the start of the business when I was grinding for literally 12 hours a day, mainly just prepping boxes and labeling stuff and doing this whole physical process, because it is so time consuming. And because I don't have to do these time consuming tasks like prepping all my products, it allows me to develop my own sourcing techniques, like the secret sourcing techniques you guys I'm sure have seen me mention many times in videos, that allow me to make so much money. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to be spending loads of time doing something that is a necessity but isn't actively going to make you more money. You've already bought that stock, right? You don't want to be having to label it up and spend all that time doing it. You just want to be buying more stock. You want to be working on your skills and improving your sourcing techniques. And having that free time to do that has allowed me to kind of change the game when it comes to sourcing. Hiring VAs is another amazing way of outsourcing. So that's where you're hiring a virtual assistant, usually someone from the Philippines or somewhere like that, where you just have to pay them a fairly low wage, compared to the UK, but for them it's great money. And they'll be able to source you products, handle the admin side of things. So, just small little tasks that do matter, like, you know, making sure that every single unit that I buy ends up at one of these places and doesn't kind of get lost along the way. And in particular, the sourcing side of things, you know, that again became something that was super time consuming after I'd outsourced the prep, but I was then able to train my VA team in my own secret sourcing methods. And now I've got 3 different VAs all trained up in these methods, and they're working round the clock to be kind of getting me these products in and getting me these things to sell. And all I have to do is just every day check out what they found, decide whether I want to buy it or not, place the orders, update the spreadsheet, and that's about it. And all this only takes me 1 to 2 hours. Literally every other part of the business at this point has been outsourced to someone else. It's why I have the time to kind of make these YouTube videos for you guys, because you know, if I didn't, I'd probably have to find another hobby. But yeah, this business has just completely broken down all the barriers that I had in terms of kind of making good money from like a job or something like that in life. You know, for a long time, I wanted to be a software engineer. Literally from when I was like probably like 10 years old is basically when I decided I wanted to be doing either that or being a scientist. And even to the point of literally I went to uni for a whole year, paid for my tuition up front from some of my profits from my business, went and studied software engineering. And it was during that first year of uni where I hit my first £10,000 profit in a single month from Amazon FBA. And that was when I realized, like, nah, like I don't think uni's for me. You know, I loved it, I really enjoyed it, I found it fascinating, but I don't have the time to do uni and the business, and so I picked the business to go with, and I think that was the best decision I've made ever. I'm off to bloody Asia on Tuesday. I'm going to Singapore, going to Thailand, doing all these amazing things, and none of that will be possible without Amazon FBA. You know, there was definitely a point with Amazon towards the start. I was kind of thinking, like, how scalable is this? Like, what is the ceiling? Like, I had one kind of role model as such, a friend of mine who was doing it, and he'd managed to scale to making about £10,000 a month, which I thought was mind-blowing. But honestly, if I had a month like that nowadays, I'd probably cry. Like, yeah, sounds bad, but like that is kind of the position I'm at with my business right now. That would be like a terrible month. And honestly, the ceiling still hasn't been reached. I myself have probably on track to do about 50 grand in profit this month, maybe more. I don't really know. It has been a pretty crazy last couple of weeks. And I've also got mentorship students that I've got in my program that are doing upwards of £60,000 in profit consistently every month. Like, this month is going to be very good for me, but this guy's consistent with the 60K months, which is crazy impressive. And I think, you know, if you just keep reinvesting the profits and keep working on, you know, finding new suppliers, finding new deals, advancing your sourcing techniques, I don't know how far it can go, you know. So far, we've not found the ceiling. That's all I can say. What I can say for certain is Amazon FBA has set me up on a massive trajectory for kind of future businesses stuff, like stuff outside of Amazon. Like right now, because of Amazon, I'm sitting on a huge cash pile. I mean, a lot of it is in Amazon stock, but once I've sold it, I'm gonna have a huge cash pile whenever I decide to kind of go on to the next thing, whenever that might be, whatever that might be. I mean, I don't know at this point, it's far off in the future, but at that point, I'm gonna have a huge amount of cash to kind of start another business with. I have no idea what I'm gonna end up doing, but there are so many possibilities. I could even have multiple businesses realistically, and this is all stuff that's outside of Amazon. I mean, some people like to kind of discredit Amazon FBA as like, oh, it's not a real business. You're just selling products on Amazon's website. You don't have anything yourself. And they got a point. I sell other people's products on someone else's website. I'm just a middleman here. But if I wanted to kind of switch that up and fund something new, whether it's launching my own product, my own website, or something completely different, like buying an industrial estate is something that I've always been keen on, like building your own like warehouses and renting them out. I think that's just an absolute money maker, and all of that stuff is well within the means of what is possible now because of Amazon FBA. I mean, if we're on the topic of talking about other businesses slightly outside of Amazon, you know, Amazon FBA has also allowed me to launch another successful business, which is my Amazon FBA mentorship program. So, you know, whenever you kind of know something good, it's always good to kind of offer that knowledge to other people. I think, you know, being able to teach other people is such a brilliant kind of skill in life. And obviously at the end of the day, it's increased my income and also diversified it. You know, I'm not just paid from selling Amazon stock, I'm also paid from helping other people do the same, which is just, you know, it's great. It's more income streams for me. And I always find that if you can have as many streams of income as possible, you know, the more you have, the better position you're going to be in, not just like financially, but also kind of risk wise. Like, if something catastrophic, but arguably unlikely thing happened. Like the warehouse behind me exploded and a load of my stock kind of got destroyed and I was at a huge loss or whatever, at least I'd still have a little bit of income from another business. And you know, I still have the stock that's at Amazon themselves, kind of that they're kind of shipping out to my customers. It's less risk, you know, you don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. And unlike what other people might have done with a little bit of extra income on the side, especially from something that's not super taxing, you know, doing mentorship is an enjoyable business to have. I get to speak to loads of new people. I actually enjoy doing it. Some other people that get paid a decent amount of money from doing something like that, they might just go and spend it on stupid stuff, but I didn't want to make that same mistake. I took all of that profit from that and I've reinvested it back into my main business, the Amazon FBA business, where I'm actually selling the items. So it's given me a massive boost capital wise because it's allowed me to invest so much more money into stock, which is the whole reason I started doing it in the first place, really. For a while now, and I'm still in this position, I've just been able to find so many more deals than I can really afford to actually buy, which is a great position to be in. I'm sure if you're an Amazon seller listening to that, you're like, that's my dream. But for me, it's a pain because I'm seeing all these amazing products that I know I could sell and make loads of money, but I just don't have the cash to actually buy them. So yeah, I just took all that kind of mentorship money, pumped it back into the main business, and I'm continually just flipping it over and over and over, which is amazing. I think as well, it's a kind of a common misconception that teaching other people your exact kind of methods and strategies is going to compromise your own business, like in the short term and the long term, but I just haven't found this to be the case. If anything, it has made me more money from being able to kind of get more confident with my own sourcing techniques, you know, practicing like the secret sauce. Like if you're a mentee watching this, you know that it's not easy, it is a complex subject, but practicing it so many times with other people has allowed me to get better at that myself. And also working with other successful mentees, students, like, you know, they're finding good deals and they're sending them to me and I'm giving them feedback, I'm sending them stuff back. Like it's like a really good relationship. It's like I have people that they don't work for me necessarily. Obviously they have a different company, different seller account, all that stuff, but we work together almost as if we work for the same company. We're always like sharing deals, sharing sites, suppliers, stuff like that. If someone in the group has like a massive opportunity that involves buying in and, you know, maybe the minimum order quantity is like 100 grand, we can split that multiple ways, and it's just a really great community to have kind of behind me. I mean, Sam, for example, my kind of star mentorship student, who's done over 60 grand a month consistently, which is, you know, the highest I've ever seen in the UK. He learned everything from me when it comes to Amazon. Like he started and he literally knew basically nothing about online arbitrage, didn't even know the concept of it. I taught him everything from the ground up, and over the past couple of years he's scaled to absolutely mind-blowing numbers. I mean, Sam definitely did have a bit of a head start compared to some people. He had capital from a previous business to invest in it, and he just had previous experience running businesses, which is, you know, great. But I've even had people that are in a complete other side of the spectrum, like another guy that I've taught, a guy called Leighton, who I did a video going around on a Rolls Royce with, interviewing him. He was a complete beginner when he started. He was just working a 9 to 5 at Home Bargains, no real previous business experience and not a lot of money to kind of get started with. But he himself really quickly, within 6 months, was able to scale up to making about 1.5k, 2k profit in a month, which, you know, might sound not a huge amount compared to Sam's 60k or my like 30, 40k or whatever, but an extra 1.5 to 2 grand a month for, you know, fairly minimal effort. I mean, Leighton doesn't have to work as hard as like me and Sam do to spend that much money, right? He could do it fairly quickly. To a lot of people, that's a whole other like full-time job, but you know, without the actual full-time work hours, it's life-changing. Arguably more life-changing than it was for me and Sam, who already had a little bit of money and weren't kind of like struggling as such to kind of make ends meet. And I'm sure over time, if Leighton kind of doesn't go too crazy and spends all his profit really quick, he'll keep reinvesting those in the business and eventually will scale up to me and Sam's sort of level. You know, it's really satisfying being able to like teach someone like Leighton, where, you know, he didn't really have much of a plan, was just kind of working at Home Bargains, and now has this whole kind of potential trajectory to do Amazon FBA, scale that up to full time, and then from that launch other businesses with the profits. It's crazy. I mean, like, hopefully will have an amazing effect on his life, as will I have on everyone that kind of joins up to the program. You know, I want to see everyone kind of winning, and I want to continue this kind of thing of like scaling the mentorship program, improving it for everyone involved, because yeah, I've got some big things in the pipeline. I mean, for example, nowadays, regardless of your schedule, 24/7 pretty much. We'll be able to book you in for a one-to-one call. You know, if you want to do a call at 5 a.m, it's now a possibility. If you want to do a call at like 9 p.m. at night UK time, we could do that as well. And that's because I've hired one of my really successful students, a guy called Wes, to help me out with the calls. And I think that's going to be, you know, one small part of making this crazy good value for anyone involved. We've also just hired some new VAs that are going to be getting even more sourcing leads like for the group. So these leads will just go straight into the group for everyone to enjoy. So there's more products that you could just straight away buy and make money off with basically no effort. And this just gives students an immediate ROI on their investment whilst they're still focusing on like kind of learning and implementing the secret sourcing techniques. And from there, once they've learned those techniques, they'll be able to find all these sort of products on their own without the need for kind of a VA to find it or anyone else. And on top of all that, I mean, just the lifestyle that Amazon FBA has kind of rewarded me with is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, even simple things that I think now I almost take for granted, like just not worrying about money, not stressing about paying for my groceries, paying for my bills. Like, obviously there's a cost of living crisis in the UK, and I'm incredibly grateful to not be in a position where I'm having to stress about those kind of things. It really is an absolute blessing. And honestly, you know, having that whilst also only really needing to spend like 1 to 2 hours per day is, yeah, it feels like I've been blessed, and I don't really know why, like what I've kind of done to deserve this, but it's just hard work pays off, really. You know, I'm able to just go and be with my family, be with my friends, kind of travel, just do whatever I want with my day without stressing about anything. It's a life that honestly everyone should be able to live in this country. I don't get why it's such a kind of a rich country in the world, like everyone's struggling so much with just basic things. Everyone should be able to do what I'm doing, where you're able to just enjoy life for what it is. You know, we've only got one life. You want to kind of, you know, have fun with it, not be stressing about all these things that should be a minor concern. But, you know, fuck this country. That's why I travel all the time. I mean, for the past like year now, I've been going on holidays pretty much every single month and traveling to all different destinations. Back in October of last year, I think I went, or maybe it was October, I think it was. I went to 4 different countries in 1 month. I went to Amsterdam, New York, Germany, and France. Like, being able to go to all those places and stay in beautiful hotels, and also while not actually paying for a lot of these because it's all with like credit card points, is just a crazy perk of Amazon FBA. Last year, I stayed for 3 months in Thailand, and that was kind of when I realized that I could just do all this stuff from just abroad. Like, that was kind of the first real test of a very long time that I was kind of out of the country. I mean, well, the first time I'd ever been out of the country for that long. And I'm heading back there in literally just a couple of days. I'm off to Singapore for a couple of days, and then after that I'm going to go to Thailand, and I don't really know how long I'm going to be there. Probably at least a couple months, maybe longer, we'll see. But you know, that is just the dream life for me. I've always wanted to just go and see the world and travel about, but you know, for a lot of people that's just not a possibility, because it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's an expensive thing to do, flying all around the country or flying around the world even. But yeah, it's mind-blowing what this business has been able to give me. I mean, the traveling's amazing, but also just in this country, I've unfortunately was buying a house and it's kind of all fallen through, as things do. There was like a big chain of people and the chain fell through, which is a pain, but what can you do? But I'm currently in the process of buying a house. Not exactly sure now when I'm going to move in. I should have had the keys already, realistically. But at some point, hopefully in the next 6 months, I'll be moving into a new house. And you know, buying a 3-bed house in cash with no mortgage at 22 years old, on top of everything else that is kind of going on in my life right now, is another just mind-blowing thing that would not have been possible without Amazon FBA. And you know, if you're watching this and you haven't started, ask yourself why. Why have you not started Amazon FBA? Because it is crazy the potential that this business model has. There we have it. That is how making over 500 grand from Amazon FBA has changed my life over the past few years. Now, I hope this video shows you what is actually possible with online arbitrage and kind of how there is no limits to this model. And I hope that it motivates you to commit to it for a long enough time to make a success out of it. Because it does take a long time. You know, I've been doing this for a few years. It wasn't instant from the start. You know, it wasn't even a year on, I wasn't making crazy money. Now, if you'd like to speed run that process over the past few years that I've experienced and learn everything that I know about Amazon FBA directly from me over the next 6 months, you can head down to the video description and apply to join my 6-month-long mentorship program. And finally, drop a like if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more Amazon FBA content from me, and you can click up here or here maybe to check out this video where I break down the exact amount of profit that I make from Amazon FBA after every single expense is taken into account, you know, an actual true net profit outlook.